This video is going to be similar to one I just made in terms of multiplying by tens, hundreds, and thousands, but I'm going to change it a little bit by making, instead of just tens, I'm going to make it maybe 50, and then instead of hundreds, maybe 600, and I'll show you how to do that. It's similar to the other method, so let's get into it. So if I have 42 times, instead of 10, let's do more than one 10. So let's do 60, like 6 tens, which would be 60. Okay. All right. So I have my two factors, 42 times 60, and I want to get my product. Okay. So what I do is I break it up a little bit. When I see a 0, I kind of just let go of that 0 for a second. I'm going to do 42 times 6. Now I could use a calculator on this, or I could just do it to the side here, 42 times 6. And if we know all of our math facts, which I hope we do, if you don't, please take time and really work on that and know them so you know them well. So you can go 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 4 is 24, you add your 1 is 25. Okay, so I know 42 times 6 gets me 252. So I put my 252 here. I have that number, but not everything's equal yet. We have the 42 times 6 gets that, and I have a 0, so I have to put the 0 there. So now everything is accounted for on both sides. We have this, these two factors equals this product. And I gotta put my comma. So 42 times 6 is 2,520. Now let's do something where it's even bigger, like 72 times, instead of just 100, let's go by 300 equals. Okay, so I see my zeros. I can kind of let these go for a second. I'm going to have this 3 and this 72. I want to times 72 times 3. I'll come over here, either using my calculator, but I'm not going to. I know all these facts, so I like to do this over here. 72 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 7 is 21. So it's 216. So I put that number over here, 216. 72 times 3, 216. But I'm in this different place value. I got to go higher. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, comma. And now I'm good. Everything equals. 72 times 300 gets me 216,000. Nope, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. 21,600. 72 times 300 gives me 21,600. It's just like if I would do 72 times 100, I do my 72 times 1. The difference with that is that I can do that in my head because I know everything times 1 is itself. So those two match up, and then I have my two zeros here. And 1, 2, 3. Now, 72 times 100 equals 7,200. It's a lot less than this 21,000. But I'm doing it, instead of 100, I do it 300 times. So I have to do it, this number would be twice more to get all the way up to here. So it would equal that. Okay? Let's do another one here. And I'll give you a little different method, kind of like what I just did down here, to show you how it works. Let's do it by hundreds again. So let's do 41 times 100 equals. So 41 times 100, I know the 41 times 1 is 41. Come over here, I have two zeros. Those match up, comma. So 41 times 100 is 4,100. Now, if I do 41 times, let's do 800, okay? So instead of 100, 800, it's going to be a lot more. And I just need to find what my factor is there. What this is 800 is the same as 8 times 100. So what I could do is I do this 41 times 8 and then get the answer and times it by 100. So let's do that. We'll bring it down. 41 times 800 is the same as 41 times 8 times 100. Okay, so 8 times 100 gets me 800, 41, 41. So this is the same as this, it's just broken up a little bit. So I'm going to do 41 times 8 first. Come over here. Can't quite do that in my head. 8, 32. So 328. So 328, that's these. Okay, and then times 100 equals. Okay, so now I'm down to that problem where it's times 1 and then I add the zeros. So 328 times 1 is 328. But I have these two zeros, so I put those there. Everything matches up. So now I go my comma there. 328 times 100 equals 32,800. Which, if I come back up here, and I could do, this kind of adds a step doing it this way. If I look at this as just 41 times 8, 41 times 8, that's 8, that's 32, 328, that times that equals that. Then I have these two zeros, put those right there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, comma. And I get the same thing, 32,800. Here I just did the 41 times the 8, and then I added my two zeros. This one I broke the 800 apart, and then did this 41 times 8 gets me 328 times the 100 this way, and I get the same thing. Either way works fine. Okay, let's do something by 1,000. So if I have 76 times not just 1,000, but let's do 3,000. I could do 76 times, break this up, it'd be 3 times 1,000. So I have 3 thousandths, 3 1,000ths, and then equals. So 76 times 3 times 1,000 would get me that. Let's do that. I'm going to bring these down. 76 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21, plus that is 22. So this comes down to 228, then bring this down, times 1,000 equals. Now, this is pretty simple because you can see this 228 times 1, we know anything times 1 is the same, 228, and then I have 1, 2, 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3 zeros, okay? So, then I got to put, got my comma there, 1, 2, 3, comma. So 228 times 1,000 is 228,000. That's with a couple different steps. I could have just done this, 76 times 3. And 76 times 3, same thing, 228. So 76 times 3 gets me that. Then I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Those 3 zeros equals those 3 zeros. Then I come back and put my commas in. And 228,000 and 228,000. Okay? So even if it's by tens, hundreds, thousands, more than 110, more than 100, more than 1,000, you do a similar way. Just take the small part, multiply it together, and then either add your zeros, or if you break it apart, times it by how many 100 or tens or thousands you have.